actually just finished flying, which is why I'm still in my uniform, and I thought it'd be a great time to go ahead and record a video. I started off in Washington, D.C. this morning, went to Houston, and then my flight from Houston to here to OKC in Oklahoma City. And I'm just here for the day. It's early in the afternoon. It's only about 11 o'clock. I woke up my showtime, and by showtime, what that means is that's your time that you have to be at the airport in flight attendant lingo. So my showtime this morning was 5 a.m. Oh my God, yeah. Your flights can be that early. So my showtime this morning was at 5 a.m. Flew to Houston, and then my flight to Houston, here to OKC, and here it is, only 11 o'clock. I feel like right now that it's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but it's not, it's only 11. But that's just the flight attendant lifestyle. Before I was a flight attendant, I actually worked at a bank. I had a really boring job working at a bank, and I was just really unhappy. I mean, literally every day that I walked through that bank door in downtown Houston, a part of my spirit just died. So one day, my mom was actually catching a flight around Christmas time to come visit me in Houston, and she happened to sit next to a flight attendant, who now I assume was probably commuting or on a deadhead flight, but we'll talk about more of those terms later. So my mom sat next to a flight attendant, and this flight attendant talked to her the entire flight about how much she loves her job, how she gets to travel the world. She's so happy. She's been doing it for so many years. And my mom, she knew that I was unhappy in what I was doing. So she came to Houston and she was like, Ebony, you know, you should consider becoming a flight attendant. You know, you're a people person. You want to travel. You're adventurous. And that's like that'd be a really good fit for you. Why don't you try it? And I'm like, really? You think I could do that? Like, should I? You know, I have a good job. I'm secure. I'm making good money. And I was like, okay, well, what the hell? I might as well go ahead and apply. So I applied to probably about 4 different airlines, and I got rejected by 3 of them. So I got rejected by the first 3, and finally my current airline called me back, and I went to their open session, which was in Houston. The open session is when you, basically it's like an open interview. Everyone comes and you can meet with recruiters right then and there. They decide if they like you. If they love you, you go through usually like 2 different interviews. If they love you, you're in. They extend you an invitation to come to ground school, and that's that. And that's what actually happened to me. So I left work at the bank early, went to meet with them at an airport, at a hotel near the airport, and got it on the spot. And I'm just like, and it really all happened so fast. Like, let's just say, I think I applied for the position in January of 2015, and literally March, I was on a flight headed to Phoenix to go to ground school training. So it really happened so fast that it was just like, it was so life-changing. But I had to take that leap of faith, and I literally quit my job, which my bosses were so mad. They were so disappointed because, you know, everyone loves me. Like, I was really good at what I was doing, working as a banker, and I did enjoy it in the beginning, but after a while, it just wasn't challenging anymore, and it just was so mundane. And going into an office every day, sitting behind a desk, making phone calls, trying to sell people things, it just wasn't me. And I just felt like I wasn't living my true, authentic self by doing that. I wasn't able to to truly express myself behind a desk. It was too stuffy for me. So it was pretty much like faith, and my mom sitting next to that flight attendant. So I had to quit my job, because when they extend you the offer to go to ground school training, they're only extending you an offer to come to training. You don't have the job yet, and they're going to remind you that a trillion times in training, I promise you. They're going to say, don't get too comfortable. You don't have a job. You know you don't have a job. You have to pass training. You don't have a job. I mean, we heard that the entire time in training. But, you know, I knew that as long as they let my foot in the door, that I was going to give my all, and I wasn't going to go back to Houston without being a flight attendant. And that's what happened. So I went to work, I put in my 2 weeks notice, I quit my job, and I went to Phoenix to ground school. And here I am, lo and behold, I'm a flight attendant now. And I must say that it is literally the best decision I have ever made in my life, because I am so much happier, and I live this life of just ultimate freedom. I literally think it's something that every woman should do at least once in her life, because it is going to teach you independence. It's going to teach you how to get along with people. You're going to experience so much that the world has to offer. And I've only been doing it for less than a year, so I haven't even really like scraped the pavement of what I plan to take this to. So I am doing this channel in order to inspire other young women. You know, maybe you live in a small town, maybe you live in a small city, or you could live in a big city and you just feel like there's more outside, or you just have always wanted to travel and you've dreamt of traveling the world. I'm telling you that it is so possible, and it's so easy to do, and you can get paid to do it. So in this video today, I'm going to tell you how you can become a flight attendant and that it is not as difficult as people think it is. Yes, being a flight attendant is sort of its own secret society, but it's easier to crack into than people think. I got in within 2 months, so it's definitely possible. So here's the steps. The number one way to become a flight attendant is to apply. You have to apply for the jobs. It's that easy. Just put in your applications. Go to the websites, whether it's United, American, Delta, whatever. Go and put in your application, put in your resume, and they're going to get back to you. Like, it's that easy. You don't have to, I think people think that you have to have some type of special training, some type of special education, some type of, you have to go to like flight school, and you don't. You really don't. So all you need is a high school diploma, a clean criminal background, and at least customer service experience. Bam. That's it. It's that easy. Like, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. And when you go to ground school training, they're going to teach you everything you need to know. So there's like different flight schools out here, and they'll teach you how to become a flight attendant so that you're better prepared when you apply to airlines. That's BS. Don't do it. Don't waste your money. Once you go to ground school training, they are going to teach you over, typically it's about a 6 to 8 weeks course or a 4 to 8 weeks course. They're going to teach you everything you know about being a flight attendant, from safety to customer service to CPR to first aid, how to survive if you happen to have an emergency evacuation or landing in water. I mean, they teach you everything. It's very intense, but it's good. It's a lot of information, but it's not difficult at all. But it's going to be a lot of information, but they are going to teach you exactly how to become a flight attendant. You're going to be in school. You're going to go to training Monday through Saturday for 6 to 8 weeks. So it's definitely like being back in high school or even college. If you've gone to college, it's just like that. But it's a really good experience. You make a lot of friends. You make relationships that you're going to keep forever. And it's just a lot of fun. It's a really dope experience, and I enjoyed it. So, number one, apply. All you have to do is just to apply to the positions. Put your application in, and they will get back to you if they like you, if you qualify. But like I said, all you need is at least a high school education, clean criminal background, and customer service experience. Okay, so next, you put in your application, and now you get an email from the airline, and they say, hey, we like you. We want to see more of you. So they're going to want you to answer typically around 5 questions in a video interview. It's not going to be live. It's going to be recorded. I would recommend make sure you're in a quiet, well-lit area. Something maybe with like natural light like this, or around maybe a fluorescent light, but make sure it's well-lit so they can see your face. Also be sure it's quiet. You don't want a lot of ruckus going on in the background because it's distracting. Number 2, be sure you look professional. Try to have that flight attendant look. Wear, just a blouse or a button-up, plain colors, blue, blacks, white. Don't wear any outrageous colors. Maybe like a dark purple, something like that. But stay away from the really bright tones. Keep in mind, the flight industry is very basic. They don't like to be too showy. It's very just structured and basic uniforms. So make sure you look professional. Also make sure like your nails are short, they're clean, or they're just a nice, classy, simple color. You want to do like red, pinks, or like a French manicure, but don't do any of the bright nails. Don't do the stiletto nails. They don't like long nails. So ladies, if you got your stiletto nails, you might want to take them off or clip them down. Simple makeup, do the classic flight attendant red lips or pink lips. Make sure your hair is up. My hair is down. This is actually considered out of compliance now, but I'm doing it for YouTube, so whatever. But make sure your hair is, pinned back in a bun or up on top of your head in a bun, but you definitely want it to be off of your neck because that is what is required when you're a flight attendant. Or if you have short hair, you can wear it down, but just make sure it's nice and neat. And gentlemen, make sure you're clean cut. You don't want to have a beard. Mustaches are okay, but beard, especially big beards or any type of beard for that matter, you want to get rid of for your interview. Different color hairs are not accepted. They only like a natural color hair. So stick with your your blacks, your brunettes, your natural blondes, natural reds. But if you have anything that's unnatural or extreme highlights, if your roots are showing from your coloring, make sure you get that done because they don't like roots showing when your hair is colored. Gentlemen, when you do your interview, have on a button-up, even have on a suit. I would recommend putting on a full suit. I mean, go all in for this. You only got one shot. You better make it your all. So make sure you look really clean and presentable. What else? Show your personality. Show that you're enthusiastic about this. Show this is something that you truly, definitely want, and that you're personable and you're a people person and you have a lot of personality, because they love to see that. They want to see a nice, bright personality. They want to see a nice, bright smile, but they also want to know that you're responsible, because being a flight attendant is all about safety. So although it is a fun career, it's a fun job. We have a lot of fun with our crews, even on the flights or in between flights or hanging out, during our layovers. But really, the job is a serious job, and you want to be sure that you exude that confidence, you exude that you are responsible, and that they can trust you. When you're on that aircraft and you're in the back, it's just you and your other flight attendants. You don't have anyone that you can go to. So if something goes down, like, you got to show up. So they want people that they can depend on. So don't show personality, but don't be immature. Don't be a jokester, don't do too much, but just, do enough to just show that you're not a robot. And just be confident, and it's okay. It's okay to be nervous. Nervous tension is good. It'll help you boost, but just, go in there, even though you're nervous, just think positive and know that you got this, and they are going to call you back. Trust me. Now this is where you really want to show up and you want to show out. Now the face-to-face interview is what really has a lot of people nervous, because it can be intense, but it's not that crazy. Typically in face-to-face interviews, they're going to be in group settings. So you're going to go to this face-to-face interview, and there's going to be sometimes hundreds of people there, depending on how large your airline is. If you're with a regional airline, the face-to-face can be a bit smaller, but if you're applying to like a mainline, typically their face-to-face interviews are hundreds upon hundreds of applicants, and they're all there for the same reason. So I say that to say that when you go to that face interview, this is your opportunity to shine bright. Like, you have to show up, and you literally have to show out. You have to stand out from the crowd, and you have to show them why they should hire you over the other 500 boys and girls that want to become flight attendants, okay? So when you go, be sociable, be personable, just like in your video interview. Make sure you smile the entire time. Like, you should really smile so much that your cheeks begin to hurt. I mean, smile so much that you probably should put Vaseline on your teeth, like the pageants do. The pageant girls, they put Vaseline on their teeth so it doesn't stick. You probably want to do that because you're going to be smiling that much. So in the face-to-face, typically what happens is you start off in a group setting. So they have a bunch of you in different groups, and there's one or two recruiters, and they ask you a question, and they go, around the circle or whatever, and you each have to give your answer, and they're judging you based on your responses. Once again, the questions are going to be difficult. They're not going to be tricky, but they are listening for key information. They want to get a clue into what your personality is like. Are you responsible? Are you dependable? Is your main goal going to be safety? They're listening for these things. So make sure you keep that in mind when you're giving your responses. And speak up. If they ask a general question and, they're not necessarily asking it to any particular person, be the first person to raise your hand. They love that. Oh my God, they eat that up. Like, be the first person to give your answer, and do that every single time. And then you're going to stick out to them, and they're going to remember, like, oh yeah, that's Ebony. Like, yeah, good answer, Ebony. We like her. Yeah, that Ebony girl, like they like that type of stuff, but you want to stand out. Don't shy away. This is not the time to be shy. This is not time to go into your shell. I understand some of us are introverts. I myself, believe it or not, I'm kind of an introvert when it comes to being in group settings. I get really nervous. I don't like to be a center of attention, so I get really nervous in group settings. But you have to come out of if you're like that, you have to come out of your shell. You have to just put it to the wind and just do it, because I mean, this is really do or die. And there's 100 other people that will want to be in your position, so you really have to come through. So when you're in your face-to-face, you're in your group interview, if they're asking a general question, be the first to answer. If they ask you a question, speak up, speak loudly, make sure you're smiling, be enthusiastic, and have a good answer. What I recommend prior to going to your face-to-face is do your research. There's a really good resource on this website called Glassdoor.com. You may have heard of it, you may have not. I'm going to provide the link below. Glassdoor.com is a really good resource where you can research prior to your face-to-face interview, because they're gonna, what it is, it's like a forum in a sense, and they're gonna give you a lot of information about the airline that you're applying to, and there's gonna be either current employees, former employees or current applicants that are just going to tell you about their experiences. They're going to tell you what questions they asked. They're going to tell you how the face-to-face went. I mean, it's going to give you an inside look into what the face-to-face is truly like prior to you going. So that way when you go, you already know what to expect. I mean, you can even practice some of the questions while you're at home and then have those answers prepared when you get there. So that way when you get there and they ask you these questions like, well, you know, tell me about a time when you had to you know, like you had to resolve a issue with a customer, or you know, your manager wasn't available, and you like, oh yeah, I remember reading on a glass door. So you already have that answer ready in the back of your mind. Like, that's the place that you should be when you walk into that face-to-face. Like, you should already have a list of answers in your mind. This is what they could ask. This is what they could ask me. So let me make sure I have this prepared. Like, this isn't something that you want to go into and, you know, it's kind of like, I'm going to a job interview at the Gap. No, it's not. You want to be really prepared. So Glassdoor is a really good resource. You know, it's a lot of people that are interacting with each other. Like I said, it's a forum. So it's a lot of different people talking. They're going to, you know, talk about their experiences from the time that they got the call back to the time that they were hired. So it really gives you a really good inside look. So there's other really cool resources, website that I love when I was applying to be a flight attendant that will tell you every airline that's hiring, and it's called flightattendantcareer.com. flightattendantcareer.com, and I loved it. It was really helpful when I was applying to become a flight attendant because it stays up to date every single day. It'll tell you every airline that is hiring, and you can just go down the list. And if it says hiring, go apply. If it says hiring, go apply. Another thing I would recommend: put in as many applications as you can. You know, don't just, you know, I know a lot of us, we have like this dream airline we want to work for, and that's fine. Make sure you apply to their airline, but I recommend don't limit yourself. If becoming a flight attendant is what you truly want to do, you know, make yourself, open the doors to other airlines. You know, you just may like the other airline more than you thought, you know, you will have loved the dream airline. So I would recommend putting in a bunch of applications and then just, you know, get your choosing. You know, you may get declined, you may get turned down by, you know, 1 or 2 airlines or even your dream airline, but that's okay. You can always apply later on, you know, but just at least get in the door and, you know, increase your chances by applying to a lot. Like after the group interview, they're going to start doing some cuts, typically, right? So they're going to start doing some cuts. You want to be sure you don't get cut and you make it to the next step. So after you pass, because you will, after you pass your group interview, they're then going to call you to do your one-on-one interviews. Or if it's not one-on-one, it may be a much smaller group setting. Maybe it's like you and 2 other people or something, but it may be one-on-one. Now, with your one-on-one, they now want to really kind of get to know your personality a little more. And this should typically be a little less tense. I find that I'm more nervous in group settings than I am in face-to-face one-on-one settings. But then you can be the opposite. But whatever the situation is, you know, don't worry, you'll be fine. So in the one-on-one interview, it's going to ask you more questions. These questions may be a little more in depth. They may be a little more detailed. You're probably going to be interviewed by 1 or 2 people, but that's the way it goes. And then once you do your one-on-one interview, by the end of the day, you're going to know if you got the job or not. Because typically at the face-to-face interview, they're going to tell you right then and there whether you got the job, or not whether you got the job, but whether you're accepted to ground school training. And we just going to hope that you are going to be one of the people that are going to be selected. And then they're going to extend you the offer. They're going to say, hey, we like you. We want you to come to ground school training starting on day. These are the conditions, and this is where the location is going to be, and welcome aboard. And that's it. And it's going to be an all-day process. So plan to be at your face-to-face all day. Another thing, if you live in a different state outside of where the face-to-face interview is going to be, don't worry, they will fly you out. Most airlines, there's a few, like some of the regional airlines, the smaller ones, they may tell you have to pay for your own way there. But like some of the larger airlines, they're going to fly you out to the face-to-face interview, so you don't have to worry about, you know, your own transportation in order to get there. For ground school training, if you're wondering, yes, they're gonna fly you out to ground school training, and yes, they're gonna put you in a hotel while you're in training the entire time. As a side note, most airlines don't pay for ground school training. There's very few, like I know Delta pays you during ground school training, and Southwest Airlines do. But most airlines don't pay you during training. You have to just kind of have your own little money aside. They're going to give you maybe a little stipend, like my airline, and I know there's a few airlines that'll give you a stipend. So let's say at the end of the week, you know, if you're still there, then they will give you like $100 cash card or something like that. That way you can just, you know, just buy food and little necessities while you're, just to get you through training. So that really does help. So go to flightattendantcareers.com. Make sure you look at a list, and I'll put the link down below. Make sure you look at the list of all the airlines that are hiring, and go ahead right away, put them in. A lot of the airlines, they only have their hiring open for so long. I mean, literally, especially if it's a popular airline, I mean, it may can only be open for 24 hours, and then they get 1,000 applications and they close it down. So you want to stay on top of that website and be sure you stay up to date for when they're open for their accepting applications. And I think that's it. So thank you so much for watching. I'm going to post all of the links that I was telling you guys about, like the Glassdoor and flightattendantcareer.com below. If I come up with some more resources, I would definitely link those as well. If you have any questions, feel free to please hit me up. Just comment below your questions, send me a message. Hit me up on Instagram. That's where I am. Most of my time is on Instagram at Ebony Christina. That's Ebony, EBONY, XTINA, Ebony Christina. Check out my segment, Ask a Flight Attendant. If you do have any questions that come to mind, hit me up on Instagram, hashtag Ask a Flight Attendant. I will answer those questions for you, either personally in your DM, or I will actually post the answer to my Instagram if I know that it's a question that people could use, or if it's a really popular question I've been getting a lot. But if you do search the hashtag Ask a Flight Attendant, you will see a lot of the tips that I've given throughout the weeks, throughout the months, that can help you as you prepare to apply to be a flight attendant, or as you continue on your journey while you're applying. Also coming up, I'm really excited. I'm starting a travel vlog. Well, I already have some vlogs going, but I'm going to be posting them soon after this video. But it's just going to be me showing you what I do when I travel on my overnights, or when I'm just traveling for leisure throughout the world. So they're going to be really sweet. They're going to be popping, I promise. I have a lot of fun when I go out of town. You're going to be able to see some of my friends that I hang out with. I like to try different restaurants when I go out, visit different attractions, meet locals. I really like to do things that locals do when I go out of town. I don't like to necessarily do too much touristy things, unless it's like, you know, something popular and it's the first time I'm visiting that city. But typically I like to hang out with the locals. I like to drink and talk and just chat with the locals and visit the places they go, because then that gives you a true authentic feel of the city. So that's one of my tips when you do your own traveling. Just, you know, try and involve yourself in more of the local culture, because it'll give you a better insight about that location. But yeah, stay tuned for those videos, because those are going to be really nice. I'll be posting that soon. Make sure you subscribe, like this video, and also share with your friends and family members. If you know anyone that is an aspiring flight attendant, maybe they need just that little nudge, or you know, they want to do but they don't know quite how to get started, share this video with them. If it helps you, it may help them as well. I hope, you know, they'll probably be thankful for it, and I personally already just thank you for it if you do that. But once again, make sure you subscribe, hit me up on Instagram, and thanks for watching. Mwah.